evaluation of how you guys performed?
Well, it's disappointing we lost. You know, I feel bad for our players. They worked so hard for so long. I thought our players, I mean, our defense had great effort all night. We really attacked the football. We just didn't execute, you know, and times and gave up too many big plays. Those hurt us. And, you know, you can't do that against good football teams. You know, with the guys that, you know, they were already talented at quarterback, and obviously he hurt us, you know, in a couple runs, and we didn't fit things correctly when those happened, and we had a couple coverage busts, and you know, it affected the game. Big plays, you can't give up explosive plays. Our guys know, we know it. You know, we've got to get better this week.
When you look at a play like that fumble on the goal line, that was a great individual effort to force that fumble. I guess had some other things going right later in the game. Do you think, you know, turning points like that are things that are maybe missing, you know, the last couple of years for you guys?
Well, that was a big lift in momentum. I mean, everybody knows that, you know, football is a game of momentum and emotions, and we're capable of producing a lot of plays like that this year. We've got, you know, guys that I think are very talented. I was pleased with the way our middle of our defense, for the most part, played, you know, much better, more effectively than last season. So, you know, hopefully we can rectify, you know, the mistakes that we had and get better every week.
Coach, after you've broken down the film and you take a look at everything, could you talk a little bit about how you felt your defensive line played overall against what is at least likely going to be the biggest offensive line you see this year?
Yeah, I thought it got to be, you know, well, the first thing was I thought they played pretty well. I thought they played hard. The loss of Will Freeman early sent us into a little bit of a tailspin, moving guys around early on. You know, we had to play a couple guys a little bit more than we would have liked to, and keeping them fresh. But for the most part, I thought the guys handled it pretty well. You know, with Michael Smith moving back in an emergency situation, and you know, he played very well inside. And you know, some of the guys that we weren't expecting us to give as many reps as they did, Quincy Russell and Andrew Bolton, we was hoping that we could rest them a little bit more, and we weren't able to. But they still played pretty well, and they held their own against their front, which is a pretty big front. So, you know, in this league, I think we'll be, you know, if we stay healthy throughout the rest of the way, I think we'll be able to match up with most people.
Coach, just kind of follow up, do you anticipate Michael Smith's move back inside to be something that we can expect moving forward?
Right now, that's the plan, to, you know, to replace Will, and you know, we have some flexibility with, we can also use Dylan Bradley inside if need be, you know, we got Draper Riley back this week, so you know, that added depth factor should help us. So we'll, you know, right now it looks like it's going to be Andrew Bolton and Michael Smith will be starting for us this week inside.
Maybe aside from a couple bigger runs in the second half, what kind of confidence do you guys gain from at least containing a Dak Prescott, really holding your own against a high-caliber player in offense like that?
Well, I just think it looked a little better this year than it did last year. At least, you know, from a schematic standpoint, they didn't hurt us as bad with their tempo as they did last year, and we didn't have as many just busts with young players. You know, we were aligned, and you know, it looked like it was supposed to look. We just, you know, we had some execution mistakes during the plays that hurt us. But for the most part, you know, we're not that far away, and that's what they got to believe. And we just got to continue to improve, and hopefully, you know, with the added junior college players in every game, they're only going to get better. The guys that joined us later are only going to get better. So, you know, we're optimistic about, you know, the future of this team.
And you talked about maybe simplifying things on defense when you watch them out there. Do you kind of think, or does it look like they're more reading and reacting than thinking?
Well, they played, you know, much faster than we have in the past. I mean, if you watch the way that, you know, our guys really attacked the football, they were hitting it pretty good. You know, it was the couple plays that broke out of there on us. You know, the one early pass play on third down was a coverage bust, and you know, that's inexcusable. And you know, that falls on me. We've got to rep it more, practice it more, maybe simplify it a little bit more. It's different situations so that doesn't happen. And you know, we had a couple executions on one Dak Prescott's run. We didn't fit it very well. And you know, like I said, you can't when you're playing a good football team that's explosive like they are, you can't make those kind of mistakes, and you know, that just gives them the momentum that they're looking for.
According to the post-game stats, your top tacklers were defensive backs, mainly safeties. Is that just a sign of the time, or
It's a sign of the times. You know, your safeties have to be. Whenever you play a running quarterback, you have to involve your safeties. You know, with everybody that's, you know, it's kind of like option football was years ago when, you know, everything is an option. You know, if you have two receivers out there, you can't leave those two alone because of just the zone read schemes and the, you know, all the quarterback run pass options and, you know, the play action pass. And so it's, you got to commit more guys to the run, and safeties are going to be involved a lot more than they've been in years past.
What's your biggest challenge for your defense this week?
To play like they're capable of playing. You know, we've got to approach last week like we did this week. I mean, we've got to approach this week as we did last week. You know, and just make sure that they're as focused and treat this week as, you know, like it's the next game. And if we come in and we play with the emotion and we prepare like we did, I'm expecting us to play well. I really am. And, you know, hopefully we have a mature team that understands that. They'll prepare like they did for Mississippi State.
what does Austin Peay do as far as run, pass, 50-50?
Yeah, they're trying to, you know, they're one back quarterback run zone read team. They'll give you a little bit of two tight ends and, you know, try to run the football with the two tight ends. And, you know, the quarterback is a very capable runner. And, you know, so they're, you know, they do some things that schematically challenge you a little bit and commit you to stop the running quarterback. So, you know, you got to be, you know, run sound against him, so that changes your hand a little bit defensively.
Anything else? Coach, thank you.